I am a city dweller, born, bred and educated in London. I worked there until my husband and I moved to Brussels some 33 years ago. Much smaller than London, Brussels is still a city. As with most people, climate change concerns me, and I do all the things that most of us do, like using public transport as much as possible, recycling, conserving electricity and water. A chance encounter resulted in my first photographic project and triggered in me a real concern about the way that we city dwellers treat nature. We seem to want to control it. We apply standards of behaviour to other species that we ourselves fail to live up to. We come up with short-term solutions without understanding the long-term consequences, solutions that may make our lives better, but cause devastating damage that others must live with. According to the European Environment Agency, sustainability is about meeting the world's needs of today and tomorrow by creating systems that allow us to live well and within the limits of our planet. Building a sustainable Europe isn't an easy task. Without a rapid and fundamental transformation of Europe's production and consumption systems, it will not be possible. Europe needs to find ways to change several key systems. One of them is food production. Brussels has had a good food strategy that has been supporting the development of urban farming and helping to make Brussels food production more sustainable ever since 2015. In future, the cities will need to be producing far more food locally if there's not going to be food shortages. Urban farming is becoming more important, not only to grow food, but also to encourage biodiversity and to strengthen local communities. I wanted to know more about urban farming, how sustainable it could be, how was it run, could it really build community? Le Jardin Collectif du Champ de Quai is a dynamic and successful urban farm in a southeastern suburb of Brussels. I contacted and met one of the organisers in February and was given permission to photograph on the farm. My intention was to follow and photograph the life and work of the farm during one growing season from March through to November. To make visual sense of the site, someone suggested I fly a drone over the site, but as I've never flown a drone or taken photographs using one, I decided it would be much easier to use a Google Earth image that was taken in 2021. Area 1 houses the animals, hens and a rabbit in a hen coop and sheep in a field. The allotments are found in the second area and are worked on by local gardeners. The third area is an open grass social area with a small covered market place for meetings and where products are sold on Sundays. The fourth is the professional farm area, consisting of one small and one large open field, 4 large polytunnels and a couple of sheds that is organised and run by paid farmers. I am drawn to taking images with a narrative, to documentary photography. In his book, The Documentary Impulse, Stuart Franklin defines documentary as the passion to record the moments we experience and wish to preserve, the things we witness and might want to reform, or simply the people and places and the things that we find remarkable. The farm excited me as a photographer from the first time I visited it. I saw the extraordinary transformation of the farm from a wet and abandoned landscape at the end of winter to an explosion of green, bright colours from the flowers, of the vegetables and the ripening fruit in summer. This is the first time I've really seen close up cabbages, cauliflower and many other vegetables in the ground actually growing. My biggest surprise is the red cabbage, which I think is truly beautiful. In the book, The Mindful Photographer, Sophie Howarth talks about curiosity. She says that the mindful photographer combines an insatiable curiosity about the world with a radically open heart and mind. I never actually know what I'm going to see when I visit the farm. I hope to find the farmers and gardeners working, but often they haven't been there. And that has given me the chance to experiment with other types of photography, for example, focusing in on the landscape and the plants. I've had fun experimenting with different ways of post-editing my plant photographs. It's given me a very different way of seeing the plants. In The Mindful Photographer, Howard Zehr is quoted as saying, "When we photograph, we do not actually reach out and take anything. Rather, we receive an image that is reflected from the subject. Instead of understanding photography as taking, we can envisage it as receiving. Instead of a trophy that is hunted, an image is a gift." I wanted to try and take documentary images of people actively engaged in the work of growing food rather than posing for photographs. I have experimented with environmental portraits, but maybe it's a lack of practice, but with a few exceptions, these were not a success. I felt awkward asking the farmers to stop working and pose for an image. People and the farm itself have been a gift to me in my photography. The discipline of this long-term project has allowed me to slow down, to look around me, to really observe the people and the landscape. This year I have photographed the cycle of growth of the crops and the work of the farmers and gardeners over time. I have seen how hard they work, but also how carefully they tend the plants. I have seen how the cool and overly wet winter and spring has affected the crops, and how much damage slugs and snails did to some crops, especially to those grown by the allotment gardeners. There are other aspects of the farm that I have not tried to cover. All the social events and the activities based around the sheep, cheese making and making felt from the fleece that I would like to photograph in the future. Before the growing season ends, I want to put on an exhibition of my photographs at the farm. My contact there has given me the names of people to talk to. I've put many of my images into my portfolio site and passed on the link to it so that people can see what I have been doing. And giving the last word to one of the farmers, I asked him how he felt about being photographed.
Me at all. You're not the only one to take a photo of us on the field. It doesn't bother me at all. It's kind of cool, I think, to have a professional who take photo of us at the farm. It's nice, I think.
Merci beaucoup.
Avec plaisir.